Welcome to Toffee Blue View, your source for all things Everton. I'm Gerry. Terry and Max have graced us with their presence. Let's talk Cardiff. They're currently, I believe, 18th in the table with 8 points. They recently did just beat Brighton, though, 2-1. Lost to Leicester 1-0. Lost to Liverpool 4-1. And they beat Fulham 4-2. So let's start with Terry. Terry, Cardiff's an interesting team because they're one of those teams from the Championship who didn't change much. They kept their same manager. They didn't buy a lot of players. They wanted to keep a certain stability because I think they were trying to learn from the previous time they got promoted. Very, very different than Fulham. What do you see in this Cardiff team and their chances of survival and pretty much whatever you want to say about them?
No, they're one of the weakest teams that have come up from the Championship, and even their own manager acknowledges that. I mean, I've got respect for clubs who try and keep the squads together when they come up and try and give those players who've earned promotion a chance to have a crack at the big time. And plenty of players have become Premier League stars from that, where by excelling in a promoted side when they come up, but I just don't see Cardiff just haven't got the players to stay up. I mean, this game coming up, I can't see anything other than a Everton win and a comfortable Everton win because there's no game-changing players. There's no one. They don't have to be a competitive Premier League team. They just have to be better than three others, and I just don't see them being better than any other teams at all. I can see them finishing rock bottom because Fulham, who are currently struggling, will go out and spend money to try and to fight against the situation they're in, whereas Cardiff are just going to soldier on. And I mean, I just can't see it. I don't see anything from them that makes me think they've got any chance of staying up.
Maxwell, what do you got?
Yeah, I agree with Terry. I see them as they're just kind of limp towards the finish line. I think. I don't want to call them a prehistoric footballing side, but I think if you're managed by Neil Warnock, he's just one of those managerial journeymen, isn't he? And it's kind of blood, guts and snot with him, isn't it, really? It always makes me laugh because whenever I think of Neil Warnock, you ever remember a few years back there was vines that went about and there was a fella who was really good at editing motion pictures onto you take clips and put people's faces on them or whatever. And he took Neil Warnock and he put him on Tony Soprano's mum off the Soprano.
Yes, I've seen that because he looks just like her.
Liv Soprano. So whenever I look at Neil, saying that though, I haven't seen them from their actual source, so whether they're from programs, I don't know. There's videos that kind of circulate social media about Neil Warnock, particularly from his time at Sheffield United, where he's in the dressing room and more often than not, Jags is there, and he's just not scared of giving them an unrelenting bollocking. And I've got to be honest, I like seeing that from a manager sometimes that kind of tries to keep his players' feet on the ground. And I think he's certainly got his work cut out for him with this Cardiff side. But I've got nothing against Cardiff. It's not that I don't like them. I remember after Malky Mackay was sacked and he got Ole Gunnar Solskjaer in. I think they just got beat by Liverpool, and it was that 13-14 season where Liverpool, were storming and looking like they were going to win the league. And I think after they just got beat by Liverpool, someone asked Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, "Do you see Liverpool being genuine title contenders?" And he just turned around and went, "Couldn't care less." So from that, I kind of got a bit of a liking towards Cardiff. But no, I do see an Everton victory. I don't want to jinx it at all. But I think we're in a position now, I think, where we're going to overpower these teams that are technically and physically weaker than us. Saying that, I think a point that needs to be brought up is they're a very physical side. I think in the 12 games they've had so far in the league, I think that not necessarily always for them, but there's been 4 red cards. So I think they always bring out the physicality in a side, whoever they're up against. So I think that'll be an interesting thing to keep a lookout for.
That is a good point. I mean, it seems pretty clear that they're a championship side. When you watch them play, they look like they are consistent and scrappy. Physical, consistent and scrappy, and that's they may do some things to get your blood boiling, try to get you a silly card here or there. I expect them to come out and be really physical with us. I mean, that's what everybody's been doing, but I think Cardiff would be doing it anyway, regardless of who we are. I look at this squad, possible starters: Etheridge, is it Ekwele Manga, Morrison, Solbamba, Cunningham, Harris, Gunnarsson, Rawls, Josh Murphy, Camarasa, and Patterson. If I just looked at that, because I watched them play last week, because I knew we were playing them soon. If I just looked at that today without having seen them last week, the only image I would get in my head, the only person I would know is Josh Murphy. And that's because I think we were connected with either him or his brother a couple of years ago about us possibly being interested in buying him from Norwich, I think.
Yeah.
And so it's just a team, I mean, it's not – I looked at their starting striker, Patterson.
He's a strange one, isn't he? He's
look at him, man.
One of football's weird utility men. Like he played at right back for the Scottish national team the other day, didn't he? Like,
I didn't know that.
So strange. I've got an opposition view coming up with a Cardiff supporter, so I think I'm gonna pry on that matter. Cause I always find football's utility men quite interesting.
If you look at him though, he looks like a player in the wrong era. He just looks like somebody from like the 80s. He just doesn't look like a product of 2018 right now. Something about his mustache and everything. But he got a scrappy, I think it was a scrappy header last week. Just kind of ball bouncing around, and he just managed to get ahead on it. Dangerman, he's their leading scorer.
Junior
Patterson
Hoylett.
is. Hoylett?
I put Hoylett forward. I remember when he played for Blackburn, there was one game where he caused us quite a bit of trouble. I think we gave away a few penalties against him. And when he moved to QPR, I think he scored against us, and it was quite a good individual goal. And you know what Everton are like when it comes to certain players. They'll always kind of give a pedestal to certain players to go on and have a good game. But he hasn't quite hit heights this season. I don't think he's not even starting, isn't he? I think he was the top goal scorer last season, but he's not getting in the side, which just it kind of writes it all for him to come off the bench and get the winner in the last minute. But I suppose we'll see.
I was also going to say Murphy as well, just because he looked really confident last week.
It's 0-0 in the last minute, mate. You've got to ask serious questions if he's going to spot the win or withdrawing of any kind. But they still got Bobby Reid. There's a striker at Cardiff.
Not sure.
I don't actually know. I'd have to look.
I think they have, but we were linked with them last summer. When panic mode set in, when the Giroud deal collapsed. I think we were linked with them.
I thought it was Zohore.
That's
big striker. He's actually, I think he's hurt right now. I'm not sure if he's on to be able to play or not.
Yeah, I just thought it was Zohore. You're right. That was one of the connections. I just remembered that we actually got quoted though something silly, but like 30 million for him.
Yeah, it was 30.
And I thought Steve Walsh would probably pay that, but
he wanted to, I think.
Yeah, but I don't know. We'll bide our time. Wait till January. Yeah, I mean, if you look at their defence, the way I look at it now with these teams coming to Goodison, unless it's one of the top teams, I just look at their defence more than anything, because they're going to more than likely set up defensively because they're going to Goodison. And if you see what Richarlison and Sigurdsson and everyone else did to Brighton's defence with Duffy and Dunk, they're much better than Cardiff's defenders, and look at the torture they inflicted on them. So I can't. I mean, I've just thoroughly jinxed it, I know, but we've got to really put a good performance in against Cardiff and get a good win. Clean sheet, ideally. Two clean sheets would be nice to take into the derby back to back, because then it breed confidence that we're ready to take on a really strong attack. Because if we concede against Cardiff, everyone's going to be nervous going to Anfield, aren't they? Let's be honest.
What's your prediction, Derry?
I'm going to go with 3-0.
3-0. Sounds like the prediction of a genius. I'm not sure if you caught on what I'm just saying there, but yeah. Go ahead, Max. What do you predict?
2-0.
2-0. 3-0 Blues. I normally don't pick anything that swelled. I normally don't. I just feel like we look really strong right now, and I feel like Cardiff, with their consistency, they just sort of look the way I expect them to look, the same way they did a few weeks ago. You know what I mean? I don't know. I just feel like we look really electric on the attacking end right now. I agree. So, anything else on this, guys?
I don't know if we mentioned it, but Ashley Williams has just been caught out calling Cardiff fans mugs. I suppose he's still attached to the club, so that's quite topical. But yeah, he got caught calling Cardiff fans mugs on international GC. I'm sure that'll go down well.
What does that even mean? Seriously.
A mug? Don't know.
Yeah.
Idiot.
Fool. Like, could be taken advantage of easily, more or less.
So, Ashley Williams continuing his brilliant career trajectory was it hitting the opposition's was it keeper last year? Was that not enough? Inciting getting one of our fans so jacked up when he was holding a baby. Yeah, old Ashley, Ash Williams. Yeah, I continually forget about old Ash.
Coming to Everton just did something to him. He was seen as like this really no-nonsense, like, strong leader at Swansea, and he was, the captain of the national team, and
was a proper
old-school defender. And when we came to us, he had one season, and he came back to pre-season after that, and it looked like he'd been going to festivals for a year, and he had like dreadlocks and put on loads of weight and everything, and then he started acting like a fool and acting a mug, if you will, elbowing players that literally get sent off. I was like, what the heck? What happened to you? Now he's on loan to wind his contract down. I was like,
I think he just here's me actually giving the guy the benefit of the doubt. I think last season there was a lot of confusion with our players, period. I don't think they were given enough instruction. I think you look at Michael Keane as being Exhibit A. What he's doing this season under Silva, I think that Ash Williams should be starting here if he was with us? No, he's not good enough. He's not as good as the other players. But I think he would have performed better with a manager who specifically said, this is your role, man. You know what I mean? It doesn't make him more athletic. But I think you're looking at a guy who just wasn't a happy guy. I think he wasn't a happy player.
To give my 2 cents on the matter, I think it was doomed from the start, really. If you brought in to replace John Stones, and you're not an absolute Rolls Royce of a centre-half, then I just don't think it was going to work out for you anyway, to be honest.
I was expecting a player who's not going to be doing like Cruyff's in the back and possibly give away an easy goal. But one of the things he did frequently was give away easy goals. That's the one thing I expected him not to do, was do stupid shit. And what did he do? Yeah. He made a lot of mental errors, which was not characteristic of him.
Yeah, we signed him 2 minutes before his legs went and his brain went apart somehow. That's just like, that's one of those things, isn't it? But yeah, at least he's not our problem anymore. He's our player, but is he? Because we're not going to renew that contract. It's going to just run down, and then so long.
Yeah, poor Stoke. They still have to deal with him.
Credit to
In
Silva.
reality, I'm not actually saying poor Stoke, but you know what I mean.
Credit to Silva, though. He weeded out a lot of bad apples in that first summer. Like, so many players left, even if it was just on loan, to get rid of them, because he was like, I don't want you around. Go train by yourself. This is my group, and I'm going to train with this group. And now look at the team spirit's gone through the roof.
And Marcel.
That was what I was going to say.
Yeah. Credit to them.
They brought the right guys to come in too. Good vibes, it's nice to be able to look back on last season and say, it's not today, is it? Thank God. All right. Well, I guess that's it for our Cardiff preview. Terry and I, being a little brave with 3-0 prediction. Max with his uber conservative 2-0 prediction. Not that conservative, you know what I mean. Are we possibly not giving Cardiff enough respect? Possibly. We'll find out though. I feel like we're okay. Anyway, that's it for our Cardiff preview. Stay tuned. We'll be talking about Bramley Moore capacity, branching into stadium discussion. We're going to do that because we're Everton supporters and we have something to say about it. So, yeah. So stay tuned for that video. It's coming up next. In the meantime, if you're digging the videos, please subscribe to us. We are over the 1320 mark in subs. We're slowly crawling up toward 14. Slowly but surely. So thanks so much. Check out Terry on the Liverpool Echo fan jury. He gives his thoughts on there frequently. Max shows up many places, so check out his Twitter profile so you can find out where he's going to be. Also on the Toffee Blues website, he gives lots of analysis there. They are men of knowledge. So read their stuff. That's it for now. We're going to move on to our Bramley Moore discussion. So, bye.